We've been previewing this story, if you like, all day here on BBC Radio Cambridgeshire, but now it's been confirmed. Councillors in Cambridgeshire have voted to award themselves a big pay rise. The amount they'll be able to claim through allowances goes up by 25%. It roughly equates to a £2,000 increase. Richard Taylor is a political blogger in Cambridge who was opposed to the rise and went along to the public gallery at Shire Hall in the city today. He's on the line. Hello to you, Richard.
Hello.
So, why did you object to the pay rise?
Well, I just disagree with the reasoning behind the report, really. I just don't think that being a councillor should be, or is, a full-time job. I think those who've made it into a full-time job are basically doing it wrong. Being a councillor is all about sort of setting the strategy and making decisions. It's not about working for the council, as some of these councillors seem to think it is, and getting involved in the details of providing the services.
What was the debate actually like? Because I'd have thought it was a little bit like turkeys voting for Christmas, wasn't it? Or whatever the equivalent is. I'm not sure if that is quite the right expression, but surely they were never going to vote against it, were they? Who would vote against giving yourself a big pay rise?
Well, the majority of the Liberal Democrat opposition did vote against the increase. I thought that the whole debate it was quite quiet compared to the cuts debate, where the people in the public gallery protesting have been sort of interrupting proceedings and things have got quite heated. It was all it was very calm and very serious. In fact, the Liberal Democrats didn't actually take part in the debate at all, apart from their leader making a short speech. Essentially, all the debate consisted of was a series of Conservative councillors explaining why they thought that there should be this increase. And it is an increase. It's a bit bigger than you said in your introduction. It's not just the 2,000 or so, the 25% increase in the basic allowance. The leader is going to get substantially more. He's going to get about £10,000 more, and the cabinet members are going to get an awful lot more money as well. So there's a lot of increases there for the Conservative councillors and for the Conservative cabinet.
OK. The thing is, though, Richard, regardless of your political allegiances, I just think that, or don't you think that it is a full-time job being a councillor? And what's wrong with, if you're going to dedicate a huge amount of hours to that particular role, then being properly rewarded for it?
Well, if being a councillor is a full-time job, but then that's what really limits who can become a councillor. You could only have people who are really prepared to dedicate their lives, or a good chunk of their lives, to the role. I think it's much better if we've got real people representing us, people who do have other jobs. So I think that we risk having sort of a political class of professional politicians. I don't think we need those at the local level.
I suppose the opposite argument to that, though, and Nick Clark has spelt this out previously here on BBC Radio Cambridge, he's the leader of Cambridgeshire County Council, that it is a more attractive proposition, isn't it, to become a councillor if you know that you are going to get properly rewarded for it and not just a handful of expenses.
Well, a few people did raise that during the debate. They were all talking about things like how do we increase the diversity of the council, how do we make it more attractive to sort of the ordinary man in the street, that they were saying. And I think, I entirely want councillors to get some payment for things that they actually spend money on, things like their extra phone calls, running a website for printing and things like that. And that's what I think the allowance should cover. But I don't think we should turn it into paid employment, because it's just not equivalent to paid employment. But what councillors are doing, or what they ought to be doing.
Otherwise, don't you just get the usual types in a council who are perhaps businessmen who can afford to spend an awful lot of time away from the factory floor or whatever kind of business they run?
Well, I think we can get around some of the problems that have been identified in the way the county council runs. We could have more localism. We could have, instead of getting everybody into Cambridge from the rural area of Cambridgeshire, you can make more decisions locally. You could hold more evening meetings and make a lot of the way the council runs more accessible to more people. That would be more people who could be councillors, as well as sort of more members of the public, just to participate in what's going on as well.
OK, well, good to speak to you. Thank you very much, Richard Taylor. His phone line just about hung on there, didn't it? That was Richard Taylor, who's a political blogger who went along to that public meeting at the Shire Hall in Cambridge today.